And we are back. We are back on the No Nonsense Trader tutorials. And this is Dave. And in today's lesson, I want to talk about entries. I want to talk about the basic entry, baseline cross entry, and all the rules that go along with a basic entry into a trade. And the first thing I want to talk about is a YouTube comment. And let's just do the exact same trade that I got, the YouTube comment, because I want to talk about that comment here. So it goes down over. We've seen this trade before, and let's do it again. And so right here, we can see that the primary indicator has crossed over. Okay, and this is on the closed candle. Okay, so that's one more candle, and then we've got another candle, so that's two candles. Okay, and now it's crossed over the baseline and closed, but we still don't have volume. Okay, here we've got a close and cross. We've got primary, secondary, and we've also got volume. So now we can take the trade because it's within the 1 ATR zone. Okay, now the comment that I got on YouTube was, they said, hey, don't you follow the one candle rule? And well, let's talk about that, okay? Because in this case, I definitely didn't follow the one candle rule. And so if you're unfamiliar with the one candle rule, let's look at that. So it's under VP method overview. I've got all the rules here, and let's just read this one. It says, everything is based off your primary confirmation indicator. From the point in time that you receive a signal from the main confirmation indicator, only then will you look at your other indicators. Although your secondary indicator is not at the point of giving you a signal yet, and neither is your volume indicator giving you enough volume, you can wait one more candle after and enter if your secondary indicator or volume indicator have caught up and are giving you a signal. All of those things must be true before you can enter. If your volume indicator or secondary indicator catch up 2 candles or more later, nope, too late, you cannot enter. It's a hard rule put in place so you can accurately follow a set of rules. Okay. So, in this case, if you were to follow this rule, you couldn't enter here because that is more than one candle. But let's talk about this rule some more. Let's talk about another rule. Okay, and this rule is called the bridge too far, and that came later. It says, in the case that you have received a long or short signal having the price cross over your baseline and all indicators are signaling to enter the trade, if your primary indicator started signaling 7 candles earlier, you're not to take the trade. And so that's called a bridge too far. So that's confusing, because then what the heck is the one candle rule? Because in this case, he's only counting one candle to catch up. And the other one, he's saying if it's signaled 7 candles before. Okay, well, that is contradictory. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Now, am I saying you should just throw out the entire VP methodology? Or has the method just not been scrutinized enough and been looked over by peers? And has a blueprinted book been created? No. So is VP maybe have some holes in some of the rules or methods that he has? And there could be there could be some holes there, and so we're finding those holes, and that just doesn't make any sense. Those two rules. But what does make sense to me is having a closed system with all variables accounted for. And that's what I'm going to clear up here. I think that you should not follow the bridge too far, 100%. And I'll tell you why. Because it says if your primary indicator started signaling 7 candles earlier. Okay, well, that's created by whose primary indicator? Well, I've got one here. I mean, it operates different than another person's primary indicator. So 7 candles before could be different if someone was using a rune up and down, right? And what the hell is 7? What is 7? Isn't lucky 7? I mean, the guy's from Las Vegas. Maybe he just has something to do with sevens. Or maybe he is fitting something in his own algorithm. Okay, so I just don't think that makes any sense. And I also think that we just weren't given enough live examples to understand these things fully. We weren't given enough examples, and that's what I'm going to fix here. I'm going to give everyone more examples, and I'm going to give them a full closed system to follow with lots of examples. Okay, and here is what I consider a basic entry, which just makes sense. Okay, so it crosses over the baseline. Okay, the primary indicator signals. It doesn't matter if it's signaled way back here 100 candles before, or 10 candles, or 5 candles. Okay, there's no lucky numbers or unlucky numbers that this mathematical primary indicator signal before. It just doesn't matter. Someone else could, a rune up and down could signal here, or it could signal here, 1 candle before. There should be no number of candles prior or after. And now, if you were to follow the 1 candle rule, that would be right here. That was when it signaled up, and then we're going to give it 1 more to catch up, but it didn't. And then we got 1 more, and then we got another. Now, it finally all caught up 4 candles later. Why would we just throw away this trade for the 1 candle rule? We're trend followers. If you think about it, it crossed the baseline. Okay, it's within the 1 ATR, so we're getting it at the best price. It's not up here. That's not a good price. That's not the cheapest. We could get it. We're getting it within the 1 ATR zone. So I think we're following a great rule if we can just trade within the 1 ATR zone with all of our indicators signaling. And that's it. And that's a basic entry, okay? And I think those other rules, I think you should just not follow them, because they don't account and they don't clarify all situations, all variables for trading Forex, because there's lots of differences. Sometimes candles there could be like 5 of these little small candles in a row. Does that mean that it's not going to trend? Well, the future is unknown, and I just think that sticking within the 1 ATR zone with all your indicators giving you the go, the primary, secondary, and volume the go, is just a good method to stick by. Okay, and that's just my advice. And you know what? Maybe VP hadn't clarified it enough. Maybe for himself, or maybe just in his teaching methodology. Before this, he was he says he was a waiter and a sports gambler. You know what? And guess what? I have been a teacher for under 10 years before, I started my business. So maybe I'm just more attentive to details than other people, so I can look into this, and I've sort of observed this for longer, so I just identified it. And I think this is the best way it should be taught. One ATR zone, all your indicators, that should be the basic entry rules. And yeah, tell me what you think about this. If you think this is a fair way to trade. If you think about it, drop it those in an email to me or a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Hey, thanks very much. I'm going to cover this way more in depth in the next following lessons. Have a great evening, everybody. Bye-bye. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to that lesson. And again, I want to thank everybody for liking and subscribing to the channel. And let's go on the website and find the link to Lesson 9 and see what notes I wrote down. So, how to backtest. Go down to Lesson 9 and you can click right here and read some of the notes that I wrote. Again, hey, thanks a lot, everybody. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.